Hip Hop 50. Stop confusing DJs and MCs at highlight. Black folks been rapping since the 1940s. The art form has been around in different variations every decade since. In the 60s, radio jocks like Jocko, Gary Bird and Hank Spann talked in rhymes over the airwaves in a sort of cool daddy style that spread throughout neighborhoods. The mobile jocks picked up on it and incorporated it into their dialects as well. One of the first modern-day DJs to make it their signature sound and add a melodic twist to it was DJ Hollywood. Out of any DJ who predated the modern-day Emcee, it would be DJ Hollywood who deserves to be credited as the inspiration for what was to come. Grandmaster Flash recently appeared on Drink Champs, and not only did Flash say no one person is responsible for hip-hop, among other things he flat out said Kool Herc is not the first MC but he was a DJ all last year. I gave you testimony from several b-boys who attended Kool Herc parties and not one mentioned anything about Kool Herc being hip-hop's first MC. In fact, this wasn't even a discussion until recently when he reappeared after 40 years making this claim. Let me, several Emcees Grandmaster Flash and even Kool Herc himself debunk this mistruth. Kool Herc was a DJ who spun with Kool Herc. He would say little catchy phrases, but he never recited bars of rhymes like what MCs do today. He would like you to believe that though. Problem is, you won't find one flyer from that time period saying Emcee or MC Kool Herc. In fact, the reason why Herc lost his crowd to Flash was because he didn't have MCs. There are no tapes from that period with him MCing, but yet he can show up 40 years later going to events rhyming as if this is what he was doing in 73-74. He's even accepted proclamations from the mayor as being hip-hop's first MC, no questions asked. Recently at one of these ceremonies, Grandmaster Flash pulled Kool Herc away from the podium and asked him point blank, "Why are you doing this? I clearly remember you being a DJ." Kool Herc's answer was he has to pave his own path because Kool Herc doesn't recognize his contributions and keeps all the credit to himself. That's a y'all problem. You don't get to claim Cowboy's title because you feel neglected. I even came up with a more encompassing fitting title for him in the hopes he would stop this charade and call himself the co-founder of hip-hop, a more fitting title. I notice now he's calling himself the Father MC, but that name's taken too. Now to the average person who knows nothing about our culture's beginning would say, what's the difference? The difference is we can't go around confusing who did what. We can't confuse or combine what DJs did and what MCs did. Flash don't want you thinking that Kool Herc was cutting and scratching records when he wasn't, and I don't want anyone taking credit for what Cowboy Mel and Creole invented and brought to the table. I'ma keep it 100. There were no MCs in hip-hop culture before those three. And other than that, you had Mr. Biggs, the funky four-show rock Busy Bee. You didn't see the word MC or M.C on a flyer until Black Door Productions, and Grandmaster Flash here is more testimony that hip-hop's first MC is Cowboy and not Kool Herc. Kid Creole. MCing, and who made you want to MC? Creole. It was around 75. Mel was hanging out with Flash and that's how I got associated with Flash. We used to go to Kool Herc parties. Really, anybody that had equipment, we would go see them in the parks. Herc was one of the few DJs that had legitimate equipment, and he would have inside parties and charge people. They didn't have a distinction between who was the DJ and who was the MC, because all the DJs MC'd. Peak DJ Jones and those cats had the Hank Spann disc jockey voice. Timmy Tim, Clark Kent, and Kool Herc were three guys who were down with Herc. Tim and Clark Kent would say phrases like, "on down till the AM," or "back and forth, forth and back," just little phrases, not full rhymes. They would say either nursery rhymes or stuff that the last poets had said. My sister Linda used to write poetry, so that's how we were introduced to it in general. Tim and Clark Kent would say it to the beat, even though it wasn't that rhythmic. It was like a taste of the pace with the bass in YA face. Because it was done in that pattern, we wrote rhymes that were to that pattern. So for me it was Timmy Tim, Clark Kent, my brother, Mele Mel, and my sister. Donald D. Donald D. Well, basically I had no one inspiring me because I had not seen any MCs in the beginning. The only person I saw on the MIC was Kool Herc, and he didn't say any rhymes to make me inspired to wanna do it. So basically it was me going to a party that a friend of mine who I played basketball with had told me about. He lived in the Soundview projects and he was like, "Yo, there's a party going on over there with this DJ named Disco King Mario." So I'd go to check out Mario and Busy Bee Starsky was on the microphone. Kevy Kev. Troy L. Smith, who was the first DJ you heard? Kevy Kev, the first DJ I heard was Herc. Where at? At the PAL on 183rd Street and Webster Avenue. The first MC you heard on the MIC was one of Herc's boys? No, they wasn't really MCing, they just used to talk on the MIC. The first MCs I saw was Cowboy Creole and Melee Mel. So what about Coke La Rock? Did he also just talk on the MIC? Yeah, he used to talk on the MIC, little slurs or whatever, but he was like the strong arm to Herc's crew. He was like the voice unheard, you know what I am saying, the low. That's my man. As far as an MC, did he get down like y'all did? Because I have a lot of people that ask me about Coke La Rock. No, it's different, it was totally different. If we used to try to rhyme, he used to just talk. Right. Like a real MC, a master of ceremony. EZ Mike. JQ, as one who went to Herc parties, tell me what the difference was between Coke La Rock, Herc's MC, regarded as one of the first MCs ever, and Melee Mel and his brother Kid Creole, also regarded as firsts. The difference is that early on the rapper's focus was on crowd participation. Coke La Rock wasn't. All the ladies scream, fellas say ho, ladies say ow, Coke didn't do that. Coke La Rock, I never heard say a 16-bar rhyme. JQ, so he just said phrases, not necessarily on the beat. Right. It wasn't meant to entice the crowd per se. Remember the Furious did three things, they enticed the crowd, they sold Flash and they sold their individual personal skills. All that was a process. They didn't just jump out of the gate with that. Cowboy made the crowd feel like they were part of the show, Keith in the house, Terry Love in the house, Reggie Reg in the house. These are people in the crowd, not just random names. There were people who had sweatshirts made for every party that we did. With that in mind, I wondered something. If Coke La Rock, Kool Herc's MC, was just spit in little phrases on the mic, not full all-out rhymes as we know it today, then who was the first real MC spit in lyric for lyric on beat with a continuous flow? Sosa, my best friend's older brother, was Coke La Rock, who DJ'd with Kool Herc. So while we were at my best friend's house, Coke used to be talking about these parties. Me and his brother were a little too young to get into the parties at the time, but being that my friend was Coke La Rock's brother, they let us in. Kool Herc. Mr. Herc, I asked him as I scratched my head and searched for the right words. I'm curious about something. I said, who was the first person that you saw rap as we know it today? Just then at that moment a warm smile enveloped Kool Herc's streak-hardened face. He looked out the window across the street at Lake Merritt, almost as if he was looking back at that day. In a quiet voice he said, it was Melee Mel. Melee Mel and Kid Creole. They were at a boxing gym on 169th Street, in the Fort Apache area. As a matter of fact, it was the last place that I seen Big Pun alive at. In a quiet and almost somber voice he recalled the events while sometimes taking a pause to look down at his battle-scarred hands. They was in the middle of a boxing ring with these big afros. Kid Creole, as little as he is, had one too. Flash was behind them cut in. When I saw them I just smiled cause I knew where they got it from. They got it from me. And they knew that they got it from me. I wasn't mad. Melee Mel saw me in the crowd and just nodded at me. It must have been one hell of a moment.